Welcome to part 4 of this Warhammer 40,000 battle report featuring Orcs versus Tyranids. We're on to Orcs turn 4. So both the Daka jets, neither of them can stay on the table, so they both zoom off. Going to move up the two remaining Deathcopters. Move the boys up, rolling for difficult terrain. Same with the other squad of boys on my right. Getting ready for some Tyranid warrior action. Okay, on to shooting. The boys are going to fire into the Tyranid warriors. The boys with their shooters get 32 shots. Only 8 of them hit, but 6 wound. And he makes 5 of those 6 saves. Only 1 wound goes there. Now the big shooters are going to fire. And they hit 9 shots, 3 hits, 2 wounds, and no saves. So we wind up having to remove one of the warriors. Next up, the Deathcopter is going to fire, the rocket and the big shooters. And after everything is said and done, there was 1 wound against the Tyranids, and he makes that 2+ save. Next up, the Ludas are going to fire. Now they only get 1 shot each, so they managed to get 12 shots. 6 of those hit, 3 of those wound, and he makes all 3 of those saves. Next up, the boys are going to fire the Carnifexes. The shooters get 12 shots, 5 hits, and no wounds. And then the big shooters get 6 hits, 1 shot, and it fails to wound as well. So not much luck there. The boys, the big shooter in the back squad of the boys is going to fire at the Carnifexes. They get 3 shots on the big shooter and fail to hit any of them. Next up, the Lobas are going to target the Tyranid warriors. First one scatters and manages to hit some of the Termagants, and he fails his cover save. Next up, it scatters, just checking the direction it scatters, manages to hit another Termagant and fails that cover save. And the last one fails, goes back to where it was before, and it's a hit and doesn't do any damage to anyone. So now the second set of Lobas are going to fire at the Tyranid warriors. First one is I guess it was a hit, and it managed to wound, and he fails his save. Quite a little bit off camera, but he fails his save. And the next 2 blasts just don't do anything. Yeah, one scatters off. I think that's the 1 save for the 1 wound. He actually took the 1 wound because it was a 4+ save. There we go. So now we're going to do the charge distance for the Deathcopters. I'm going to go in. Now the Tyranids gets his Overwatch shot, so he gets the Acid Spray, gets 1 shot, causes 1 wound. And because it was AP4, I didn't get a save. The second one, the Larva Swarm, got 1 hit, 1 wound, but I managed to make that save, thankfully. So I've got 1 wound down. And I fail my... Actually, we'll move in first here, getting ahead of myself. And I got to roll for Fear, and I fail my Fear test. So they're attacking at Ballistic Skill 1. Hammer of Wrath, I get 2 hits, 1 wound, and he manages to make it. And then the Assault, I get 6 attacks, 3 of those hit, none of them wound. I think I needed 6s to wound here. His counterattack is 3 attacks, of which of those 2... Oh, you have to reroll those ones. So I managed to get 2 hits, 1 wound, and I don't get a save on that, so it brings it down to the other one. So now, do my leadership, and I managed to stay stuck into battle. So we go into Tyranids turn 4. So he's going to move up the Carnifexes, and then the Tyranid warriors, and then the Hive Tyrant, and he's going to run up those Hormagaunts, or sorry, just running those, not running, he's just moving those Hormagaunts up. Gets to roll 3 dice because of the, I think it's Adrenaline Sacs. And then he's going to move up the Termagants. And then he's going to cast Telekine Dome on his warriors again. So now the Hive Tyrant is going to shoot his heavy venom at the big mech, gets a hit, wounds, and I managed to make my 5+ save. Next up, the Termagants are going to fire their flesh borers at the boys. They get 7 shots, 4 of those hit, 2 of them wound, and I make both those saves. So yay for t-shirt saves. Next up, with the Carnifex were going to charge. I opted not to shoot, and then they failed, and that sort of messed him up for everything else. So he went into the Tyranid warriors are going to attack. Now I managed to get do my Overwatch. I get 40 shots. Now only 5 of those hit, and 3 wounded. And then the big shoot is 9 shots, 3 hits, 1 wound. And of those 4 saves, oh, I'm getting ahead of myself. There's the 3. He makes 2 of those, so 2 wounds. So one of the warriors is down to 1. Now they get to do their assault. They get in there, and then they get it. They're going to make a 12 attacks, and of those 7 hit and 6 wound. And because they've got the bone swords, I'm not able to make any saves. And I do a lookout sir on the boss, the knob, and he makes it. So now I get to pile in. And my boys are going to counterattack. They get 8 attacks. 3 of those hit, and none of them wound. I wasn't rolling very well on attacks here. And now the knob attacks, gets 3 attacks, 1 hit, and no wounds. I roll a 1 for the knob. So everyone else piles in. And now the Tyranofex is going to attack the Deathcoptas. And I get my attack first. I get 4 attacks, 1 wound, 1 hit, no wounds. And then he counterattacks with 3 attacks, 2 hits, 2 wounds, and that takes out both the Deathcoptas. And then he does his consolidation roll, and that brings us to the end of turn 4. So we'll take a quick look at the table. The warriors are having fun with the boys there, for lack of a better term. The flank on the right, Mark's right, seems to be moving on forward. At this point, things aren't looking too stellar for the greenskin, so we'll go right into Mark's turn 4 summary.
Alright, the warriors made it in, so I'm hoping they're going to hold them long enough to potentially kill the knob, who's still in base contact. Their primary purpose now is just to hold those boys in place while the Termagants move up and secure this objective. They're probably not going to be able to catch that one unless they miraculously survive. Over here, the Carnifexes failed to get their assault. I was hoping to slingshot them from there over to this objective to contest it, but they're not going to get that done. Next turn, I'm going to try and repeat the thing, unless I get in a little closer, and I'll try wiping out him. But that's this group of boys is still my primary objective. Hormagaunts are at risk now, just in case he decides to shoot his loot is at them. So they're still going to try and secure this objective. The Tyranofex was tied up in combat by the Deathcoptas. He's going to still try and push forward and take these guys on. And the Tyrant himself is going to try and push on. Pretty much, I think I've secured that objective for the end of the turn. This one, probably not. This one, there's an opportunity, but his Dakajets are going to come in and probably wreak some havoc on me. I'm pretty much given up on that one as well, unfortunately. And that's it. Turn 4. So far, the Deathcoptas that were tying up the monstrous creature over there are now gone. Averted a charge from the Carnifex. Decided to try to. That seemed to work to my advantage. I've been more cautious who I use Overwatch on, because sometimes people try to bait you into the first one, which isn't necessarily your best choice. So made a good call there. And the warriors came in and basically took out a good chunk of the boys. Knob's still there, but he moved in on the knob, so I'm not sure if he's going to make it much past this turn. These Gaunts, I'm sure, are going to come in here soon, so I'm not sure how to deal with them. I think I'm going to get the Labas and do as much damage as I can to them there. The other boys are going to have to come up eventually and hold this one.
At this point, I think I may have to go to ground. I'm not even sure if I can go. If that's going to be an advantage to me at this point. The Ludas, they've not been very helpful so far. At this point, I think I've been dividing my attention between these guys too much, focusing on the big guy and not on the other two. So we'll see how this goes. Sort of, I don't have a firm plan for next turn, but we'll see. I need to get the mech out of harm's way as well. So we'll go into turn 4 and see how things go. Or turn 5. Just discovered that we've run out of time. The store is about to close. This is going to be the final portion. This is what happened when I'm allowed to gab on for far too long. So at this point, the Tyranids are holding 1, 2, and 3 objectives. They got the Slay the Warlord and the First Blood. So at this point, it's 5 points for Tyranids, 0 for Orcs. So I think we're going to call it a game. And there we go.
Thank you very much for watching, and for those who are watching this as it's freshly off the computer, or off my computer into YouTube, the Rules You Got Wrong video should follow about a week after this one goes live. If you're watching it after that week, then it should be there now, and click on the link. As always, there's all the other videos you can watch. Feel free to subscribe to see all the new stuff as it comes out. Like our videos, it helps us with the YouTube shenanigans. And hey, share it with your friends. Let them know how you're spending your valuable time listening to me ramble on. So thank you again. Thank you to Mark for the game. Thank you to Phoenix Hobbies in Kitchener, Ontario for the use of the facilities. And we'll do this again soon. Thanks, everyone.